I'm Kelly Morgan, and I'm a health coach for busy overachievers. Oh, and speaking of overachievers, so many of us wear our busyness as a badge of honor. That whole archetype of this superhuman who's juggling work, family, social life, community, volunteer opportunities, all that with grace and skill and not an ounce of stress. Well, that's clearly fiction. That is an impossible standard. So, gee, I wonder why you're so tired all the time trying to live up to that. I challenge you to break free from the myth of doing it all. Start seeing ease, flow, calm as your ideal, not this super busy, always on the go type of look, because it's not a good look for you. It's not a good look for any of us, frankly. If you could let go of what everyone else thinks of you and what you should be doing, should in big fat air quotes there, you'd likely find that your energy doesn't deplete so easily. What weighs you down might differ by your situation, but it's not always the big things. In fact, death by 1,000 cuts, where it's this overload of trivial tasks that keep piling up, that's often what pushes us over the edge. Because those trivial tasks, they're not so trivial when you take them all together. In another video, we talked about how adding just one more little thing and then packing your schedule to the brim leads to stress and overwhelm. It's also a big reason for why you feel low energy and can't figure out why. It's just laundry, it's just an extra hour at work, it's just one favor for you to drive across town to do. Is each thing on its own difficult? No. That's the problem though, that's where we get in trouble. We feel guilty for feeling tired and run down, since when we start listing what we have to do, no single task or obligation is that big a deal. So you start being like, what's my problem? I'm just being lazy or I'm just being temperamental. The big deal is the accumulation of those things. They pile up. And yes, your feelings of overwhelm, fatigue, low energy, those are all very real and very valid. You're not built to do it all. There will always be a sacrifice with our time and needs to do what we have to do. But we absolutely cannot continue to keep achieving and growing and being who we want to be if you're sacrificing your health. Lack of energy is a sign of your health sacrifice. Busyness has become the new normal for most of us. There's some personal satisfaction to that, but there's also social pressure to do and have it all. If you live in a place like I do, right outside of DC, this place thrives on being overly busy. We are always moving around, always on the go, and almost give a side eye to the person who's just like, hey, calm down. Don't fall into that trap. Don't be like us here. Have a little bit of extra time in your schedule. Slow down just a little bit. Being busy doesn't get things done any faster, and it just makes you tired. You have to protect your health, and you have to set limits to your life and stick to them. Sheryl Sandberg of Lean In fame, she said that guilt management is as important as time management. Your guilt and constant need to take on everything is moderately helping others, but majorly hurting you. This isn't to say you should be selfish and not do favors. Of course not. What I'm saying is that your guilt forces you to do everything and then take on even more and more and more. That's a problem. To go back to Sheryl Sandberg for a moment, she also gave more smart advice. She said, success is making the best choices we can and accepting them. Don't beat yourself up. Your energy is limited, so don't spend it on guilt or worry about your choices. Now, here are some other things I'd like you to consider doing. Decide what really matters in your life. Not your neighbor's life, not your friend's life, your life. This will likely be what matches your idea of, say, your definition of success, or what creates the most good in your life or someone you care about. The big things, the important things, the non-negotiables. Once you have that figured out, be energy efficient and focus on the big stuff that leads to that success, the important things. Along with doing what matters most, I'd like you to also make peace with occasionally dropping the ball. If you want to preserve your energy, you can't do everything. When you get what matters done, what's left is less important. So start taking those things off your list that aren't the big things, or move them to another day when you're more refreshed. With that, be willing to ask people for help. I know that you are probably the guru, the go-to person for everything, but even gurus need help. In fact, here's an example. I'm a health coach, a professional, and I go to others for help. Sometimes I'll ask a dietitian friend or I'll go see a personal trainer. You are not the end all be all. Other people can help you and let them help you, please. You are not an endless font of energy. So let others take some of the burden. This could be your family members helping you out, a friend who offers to help, or even you go somewhere to offload things or get advice. But be willing to get some help and clear out your schedule a bit for those big things. All right, finally, a big goal should be learning how to be comfortable with saying no and saying no to the things that you don't need to do or don't want to do. It's really freeing once you learn how to say no. You're going to be amazed how good it feels just to say no because you don't want to. You don't need to make up excuses for why you don't want to go out with your friends. If you just don't feel like it, it's okay. They're still your friends. You can say no to a project at work that isn't in, a huge line for your success or isn't mandatory. Be willing to say no. You can still be this wonderful, generous, caring, in charge person and say no sometimes. We all have limits, and knowing yours and sticking to them is a big step in a healthy lifestyle because you're going to have a life that's filled with energy and meaning and hopefully a little bit less stress. I'll see you in the next video.